Hi, I'm Dr. Caroline Leaf and welcome to my podcast, Cleaning Up the Mental Mess. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about 6 tips to help you distinguish between whether a friend is draining you or recharging you. You know, people affect us. They affect us in a huge way. Every person that you come into contact with, you literally are wiring into your brain, mind, body network. And the more time you spend with them, the bigger that network actually becomes and influences you in every aspect of your life and how you show up. So it's really important that we do distinguish between people that are draining us and that are recharging us and make some decisions around that. So I'm going to give you 6 tips today to help you do that. But just before we begin, I would love it if you would rate and leave a review on my podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and keep sharing with your friends and family, because the stuff I share is really to help us manage our mental health and help us be better people. And also, don't forget, if you haven't yet subscribed to my Neurocycle app, it is really an amazing way of learning how to manage your mind, whether you're battling with day-to-day stuff, just being able to keep your mind under control, because those day-to-day things can really drain us and irritate us and drain our energy, or whether you're just spending too much time on social media, or you've got bad habits that you've developed that are affecting how you're functioning, or whether you're dealing with some deep-seated trauma, or all of those. The Neurocycle app's designed to help you manage your mind, develop your self-regulation, and help you to rewire the networks in your brain. And if you don't rewire the networks in your mind-brain-body connection, which drive you, well, then you are being driven by networks that maybe you don't want to be driven by. How you show up is based on the networks in your psychoneurobiology, which is your mind-brain-body connection. And the Neurocycle helps you to recognize the signals of when these have become disruptive and how to change them. And finally, don't forget, before we begin, I have this cutest little brainy. My most recent book, How to Help Your Child Clean Up Their Mental Mess, was released a couple of weeks back. And we've got all these amazing little bundles. So the brainy is a superhero who helps walk the mental health journey with you and your child and has a superpower called the Neurocycle. And so what we've done is the brainy is a character throughout the book. If you haven't seen the book already, that he's a little cartoon character. And we've created him into this little plush toy. And there's also a coloring book as well, which has got all these different scenarios that can help you to help your child learn how to manage their mental health. You know, life is very overwhelming, as we know, and children don't have the mental skills unless you teach them to have the mental skills to deal with what they're exposed to and the overwhelm that they feel. So go and check out at our website, drleaf.com, and select your Brainy Bundle and see how to use the Brainy Bundle to help your child with their mental health. And now on to today's podcast. Okay, so people influence us. So here are 6 tips to distinguish between whether someone is draining you or whether someone is recharging you. So first thing is assess the reciprocity of the relationship. So the back and forth. Are you the one who's always doing the suggesting we go here or there? Are you the one who's always doing the texting and the phoning? Are you the one who's always doing the listening and the advising? Are you the one who is always doing everything? Or is it a balanced and supportive relationship? So you need to ask yourself that question. You need to kind of stand back and observe your relationship. Because if it's always you that's driving the process, that is not a reciprocal relationship, and it's not a healthy relationship, and it is going to drain you because you can't just be the one driving the relationship all the time. So if your friend is consistently taking or that person is consistently taking without giving back, it might be a sign of an unbalanced relationship. Then the second tip is consider how you feel after interacting with that person. So let's say you've just gone out for dinner, or you've just had a phone call, or you've just gone on a walk together, or you've done a workout or something, you've had some time to chat afterwards, or maybe you work together, or whatever. How do you feel? What are your emotions after that interaction? How does your body feel after that interaction? How are you looking at life? What's your perspective on life after that interaction? And what are your behaviors? Have they changed after that interaction? In other words, what are the signals that are coming out of you as a result of being around that person? And if you're feeling uncomfortable, slightly uneasy, maybe you gossiping more or you are being more irritable, there's a change. In other words, a change in your behavior. Maybe you're looking at life, you're kind of all happy and whatever, and then you're suddenly looking at life in certain aspects of life, not life in general, that's so broad, but like certain aspects of life in a different way. that your perspective, your way that you view life has shifted. Is it from being around that person? These are all signals. Maybe your body, maybe you suddenly got a pain in your stomach that you didn't have before. Our body picks up everything. So, and our mind, because our mind is driving the brain and the body. So, how do you feel after interacting? So, consider how you feel after that interaction. A healthy relationship should help you feel uplifted. It should help you feel valued. Should help you feel like maybe you don't like what's going on, but like, I feel good and positive about having had this discussion about problems in the world. In other words, there's a feeling of I can move forward. This is healthy. So if that is not happening, then there's an issue. The third thing, assess communication and availability. Consider how responsive and available your friend is. Are you always available to them, but they're not available to you when you need them? Okay, so when you need them, are they there for you? And obviously, you're going to, it's balanced. They may not be able to be there all the time, but in a balanced way. Like if your friend phones you up and say, hey, I'm having such a bad day, and they consistently are not there when you need them, or there's some sort of crisis in your life. But when they're in crisis, no matter what, even if it's a tiny crisis, you are always there for them. That's a problem. And that's where you need to stand back and observe. Is this communication and availability one-sided? And then the fourth thing is trust your intuition, that gut feel, which is actually a wave of energy coming from the depths of your non-conscious mind, your non-conscious wise mind, that is looking at the network that has formed inside of you from this relationship and every interaction that's adding to more and more details or memories to that network. And if it's becoming toxic, then the network, your wise mind is going to basically be assessing that and sending you signals through your emotions and perspective and that kind of thing. So trust that intuition. When you start feeling you can't put your finger on it, but there's just something that's not right. Even though it seems right, you need a question. What is going on here? So don't ignore that gut feeling. And the fifth tip is notice patterns of negativity or drama, the drama llama. So take note of whether this friend often brings a sense of negativity. So like you having a great conversation and you had a great day, and then you sit down and there's just this like heavy, brooding sense of negativity. Or maybe they're always surrounded by drama, that every time something is, you get together or you speak to them, there's just this huge drama, and it's so draining to always be around drama. Like you just want to have an interaction with them where it's just like fun and relaxing, and you just watch a movie or something, but it's not, so is there a lot of unnecessary conflicts and drama and things like that are in their lives that they keep on putting onto you? And if interactions frequently revolve around them complaining and being negative and lots of drama and gossip and tension, it might be a sign that that friendship is actually draining you. And then number 6, evaluate their attitude toward your success and happiness. Are they happy for you when you succeed? When you have something great that happens in your life, maybe in a relationship or maybe at work or maybe in some goals that you've set for yourself? Do they celebrate genuinely with you? Do you feel them having a sort of genuine supportive enhancement and joy in what you've achieved? Or is there like, the smiles just around the mouth but not in the eyes, and they're saying things but you just know your gut is telling you, which is the mind brain body interaction and all the ability of that we have in our wise mind to send us these signals that, hey, be alert, red flag, something's going on here. Are you feeling that they're not really joyful, or do they detract and immediately change the subject and make it about themselves or something that they've done? So evaluate their attitude towards your success and your happiness. So pay careful attention to how your friend responds to your achievements and happiness. Friends who are genuinely supportive will celebrate with everything in them. You'll feel it. It won't be just in the mouth or they'll, just like saying things. It will be in their eyes, in their body movements, in that energy that they're generating from that genuine thought from inside their network that is coming out at you. It's not this conflict that's coming out of you. It's an envy, etc. It's genuine. And if your friend seems indifferent or jealous or dismissive, and it's a consistent pattern, Sometimes that just happens now and then. So now and then it can just happen. But if it's a consistent pattern, then that's something to be alerted to. So the 6 tips to distinguish whether you're being drained or uplifted are: assess the reciprocity of the relationship, number 1. Number 2, consider how you feel after the interaction. Number 3, assess their communication and availability. 4th, notice the pattern of negativity or drama. And 5th, evaluate the attitude towards your success and your happiness. And then a couple of things you can do. 4 things that you can do is, if you identify that these are potentially a problem, you've got 4 steps you can take. Communicate your feelings. Okay, first step is communicate your feelings. Second thing, set boundaries. Third thing, gradually distance yourself if necessary. And 4th thing, seek support. So let's talk a little bit about each. Communicating your feelings. If you, number 1, huge red flag. If you don't feel you can communicate your feelings, red flag, pull out, okay? If you feel you can and they'll listen, then it's really important that you have an honest conversation with your friend, telling them that you feel uncomfortable because of whatever reason, and about how you've been feeling in their relationship. And they might be genuinely unaware. Some people just get caught up in self-awareness and they just need a little prompt. Hey, listen, you're having this kind of impact on me. When you do this and this and this, it really impacts me, and they listen and they change. Hopefully that will happen. But if they don't, maybe it's time to set boundaries, which is the second thing. Establish clear boundaries that prioritize your well-being. If you don't prioritize your well-being, you're not being selfish, you're putting the oxygen mask on yourself. If you drain, you're going to turn into a people pleaser, all kinds of other negative things will come out of it, and eventually you wear yourself down, and that's just enabling that person to continue in their potentially narcissistic behavior. So it's really important that you set boundaries to establish and prioritize your well-being. What do you need? Not that you want to cut them out. It's what do you need in order for you to have a decent relationship, so that you protect yourself and don't feel like your heart's beating and your heart's sore in your chest every time you're around that person. This could involve limiting maybe the time you spend with your friend. It could be engaging in activities that nourish your own happiness, instead of constantly being there to do what they want to do. But you actually say, no, I actually just want to hang out and just read my new book that I'm reading. And then thirdly, may be necessary to gradually distance yourself. So if the relationship continues after conversing, after setting boundaries, and it's still carrying on, it may be necessary to basically start creating distance. So gradually distancing yourself. So you want it so that you can then rather focus on nurturing relationships instead, and putting effort into that instead of putting effort into trying to change or fix. So you give a person a chance. You take notice by using those 6 tips, and then you have the conversation, create the boundaries. That doesn't work. Gradually distance yourself. And if it's really difficult and you're really battling, don't be scared to seek support, maybe from a good friend, maybe even from a therapist, in how to handle the situation. Ultimately, it's really, really important to surround yourself with friends who contribute positively to how you function, because you're wiring them into you, and that is affecting how you are showing up in your life. Thanks for joining me. Hope this has helped you. Don't forget to leave a review. Look forward to seeing you next time.